Hello, I'm Katie and welcome to this beginner yoga class. In this routine, we will be melting tight hips with some long hold yoga poses. If you're here for a nice deep stretch, this routine is perfect because we'll be holding the yoga poses for 2 minutes each. This will also help you to increase your flexibility, and I'll keep things nice and chill and quiet so you can just unwind and relax. This is a beginner-friendly practice, but having cushions or yoga blocks nearby, if you have them, can come in handy. And finally, if you do enjoy this video when we're done, please leave it a thumbs up. It helps me to know what kind of classes to record, and it also encourages YouTube to show this video to more people, which I would really appreciate. So let's get started melting those tight hips. We're going to begin just sitting on the mat. So you can use a cushion or a yoga block here. It does make sitting on the mat a little bit easier. And then sit whatever way works best for you. Once you're settled, take some time to lengthen your spine as best you can. Relax your shoulders. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze. Now loosen up your jaw and unclench all of those tiny facial muscles. Paying extra attention to the muscles around your mouth, across your forehead, and around your eyebrows. Once you start to feel your body relaxing, you can bring some awareness to your breath. And all you have to do here is notice the breath as it comes into your body. And then notice the breath as it goes out of your body. Each inhale is bringing in peace and relaxation. And each exhale is letting go of worry or stress. It's normal if your mind is trying to think of things, if it's getting distracted. As soon as you notice yourself engaged in some thoughts, just tell yourself you can come back to those later. But for now, you're going to focus on your breath. Take one more big breath in. As you exhale, gently start to open the eyes again. Now we'll open up our hips with child's pose. So you can always have that cushion or yoga block if needed here. You can use it to sit up on. Your big toes will stay together and your knees will come wide apart, and that will help to stretch out the hip muscles. You can bring your hands towards the front of your yoga mat, or they can come back to rest next to your feet with your palms up. So you can take some time to figure out what will work for you. Then you're relaxing your forehead to the mat or onto a cushion, block, or your hands here. Feel free to wiggle around and adjust until you find something that works for you. And then just let gravity and your breath do all of the work for the next 2 minutes. Let's take some time again to loosen up the jaw, relax the facial muscles, unclench your shoulders, Bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice how it feels different in your body now. Challenge your mind to stay following the journey of the breath in and out. Take one more big breath in here in child's pose. Fill up your entire body. With your exhale, you can start to slowly come up out of the pose again. Bring your hands towards the front of your mat if they're not already there, and spread your fingers wide apart. We'll make our way into downward facing dog now, bringing our toes onto the back of the mat and dragging the hips up and back. And you can take some time here to settle into your downward dog. You might start by paddling your feet, loosening up your hamstrings, which will help to open up your hips. And you can also sway your hips from side to side, noticing how you feel that stretch through the sides of your hips, maybe in your glutes. And if it feels good, you can pause and just gently press into that stretch. Notice here if your awareness has gone from your breath. And if it has, that's okay. Take it back for the last few moments here in downward dog. Now we're going to give ourselves a nice deep back stretch while we're here. So you can have your feet hip-width distance apart. Bend your knees and point your tailbone up towards the sky, dragging your hips up and back. Now release your head towards the mat. Maybe your ears will come in line with your biceps, and keep pushing yourself away from your hands. Feeling the stretch all through the back of your body. Breathe into it. Use each exhale to sink a little bit deeper. Only staying here for a few breaths. Now look forward in between your hands and prepare to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, dropping your back knee to the mat. Back toes can stay tucked, or the top of the back foot can come to the mat. We're here in lizard pose, so you can have your right toes pointed away from you. The foot might be on a 45-degree angle. Then wrists can come below the shoulders, or they can come to rest on yoga blocks if you have them. If not, don't worry. Now your back knee will determine how deep you go in this pose, so you can always slide it back a little bit more if that feels good. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. So start just by noticing the effects of this pose on your body. See what sensations are revealing themselves to you. Keep breathing into them. And as always, challenging your mind to stay with your breath and with your body. Taking your last few breaths here in lizard pose, make them super juicy. Use the exhale to expel any tightness from your hips. And when you're ready, we'll start to transition into pigeon pose. So now you're walking this right foot over towards the left side of your mat. Bringing your right shin onto the mat. Don't worry about having this shin parallel to the top of the mat. Your foot can come back as far as you need it to. We do want to keep our hips lifted here, so don't just collapse into the right hip. Keep them square to the short edge of your mat. And you can do that by pulling your feet towards each other, which will help you to lift up your hips. Or you can take a yoga block or cushion and put it in underneath that right hip. So we'll be here for 2 minutes, opening up through the glutes. If you want to go a little bit deeper here, you can come down onto your forearms. Find your sensations to keep you anchored. Find your breath and just relax into this pose. Before we come out of pigeon pose, take some time to loosen your jaw, relax your face, soften your shoulders. Let gravity into your body a little bit more. And take a big breath in. With your exhale, start to reverse out of your pose, slowly making our way back into downward facing dog. So you can take your time to get there. And just as we did before, you can use this pose to help reset everything. Paddling your feet to stretch through your hips. Now we'll repeat those poses on the left side. So when you're ready, look forward and then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. However you get there is fine. It doesn't have to be so swift. You're pointing your left toes away from you and setting yourself up for lizard pose. This pose is one which your mind might try to distract you or try to get you to fidget, and that's just because it doesn't want to deal with this pose. So of course, if you're in pain or extreme discomfort, you can adjust and even come out of the pose. But if you identify that your mind is just uncomfortable, just try calm it by focusing on your breath, focusing on your body. Take your last full breath cycle here. When you're ready, transition to pigeon pose, walking your left foot over towards the right side of your mat. Resisting the temptation to collapse into your left side now, support that left hip with something underneath if you need to. Pull your feet towards each other to keep the hips lifted. And then we'll relax into whichever pigeon pose you prefer. If your mind has left you, that is okay. Come back into your body for the last few breaths here. Now take your best and last breath in this pose. When you're ready, make your way back into downward dog. We'll take a little while here just to let everything reset. Getting rid of any tension that might have accumulated in those poses. We'll do one more deep stretch for the back of the body. So have your feet hip width distance apart, knees bent, tailbone pointed up, head dropping towards the mat. Relax your neck, push yourself away from your hands, take some nice long breaths. On an exhale, drop both knees to the mat, and you can make your way to lie on the back of your body. Our final pose for this practice will be Reclined Cobbler's pose. So once you're on your back and comfortable, bring the soles of your feet together, making a diamond shape with the legs. The further away your feet are from you, the less intense this will be, so you can adjust accordingly. And you can place those yoga blocks or cushions underneath your thighs if this is too much pressure on your hips or your knees. Let your hands explore until they find a nice place to rest. Don't force your knees down, just let gravity and your breath do all the work here. We'll release this pose in a moment. So first, just savor what feels good about this position. Maybe take one more juicy breath in and out. Then lift your knees back towards each other. Slowly stepping your feet to hip width distance apart. And we'll release the hips one last time with some windshield wipers. So you're exhaling to drop the knees to one side, inhaling to pick them up, and exhaling to drop to the opposite side. So keep going, getting rid of tension from your hips. If it feels good to pause at one point, feel free to do that. Now, whenever you're ready, you can bring your knees back to center and send your feet out long. Coming into Savasana pose here, the most important part of the yoga practice, where your body can completely relax and absorb all the benefits of the poses that you've done. Let your hands and feet explore until they find a nice place to rest. Have your palms facing up so you can relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw, soften your facial muscles. Let gravity into your body now as you just rest for the next few moments. You're welcome to stay here for even longer, but if you are ready to come out of the pose, you can bring some movement back to your fingers and toes. Move whatever way your body is craving. And then you can start to pick yourself back up, eventually coming back into your seat. Once you're there, we'll end the practice as we started by lengthening the spine, relaxing the jaw, closing the eyes, taking a big breath in through your nostrils. Open your mouth to exhale. Blow out any cobwebs from your hips. You can do that a few more times if you need to. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you do like this kind of practice. They are all grouped together in this playlist, which I have also linked down below as well. So I'll see you soon. Until then, take care and goodbye. If you feel good after doing this video, imagine how good you'll feel after a traditional full-length yoga practice. If you want to dive deeper into yoga and go beyond just the pre-recorded videos with more breathing exercises to relax, meditation to quiet your thoughts, yoga philosophy so you can take yoga off of the mat, even more yoga poses so you can advance your practice, and a full 10-minute Savasana for deep relaxation, you will love my YouTube membership. Every week here on the channel, I go live for a full 70-minute yoga studio style class. It's for members only, and it's just like going to a yoga studio, except you don't even have to put on shoes. I'm always available inside the membership if you have any questions or queries, or if there's anything I can help you out with your yoga practice. So if you're ready to take your practice to the next level and feel amazing every week, click the join button below this video and I'll see you soon.